Television sitcoms have brought us countless hours of laughter and comfort. But behind the bright lights and laugh tracks, some of the most beloved performers faced unimaginable darkness. From shocking murders and devastating accidents to battles with addiction and mental health struggles, these actors left us far too soon, their death sending shockwaves through Hollywood and leaving fans heartbroken. What you're about to discover goes far beyond the cheerful characters they played on screen, revealing the tragic realities that cut short their promising careers and lives. Here are 15 heartbreaking stories about sitcom actors who died tragically. Phil Hartman was murdered by his wife. While he slept, Phil Hartman was at the peak of his career when his life ended in the most shocking way imaginable. The Canadian comedian had become a beloved fixture on Saturday Night Live for 8 seasons, where his impeccable impressions and characters earned him the nickname Glue for his ability to hold sketches together. After leaving SNL in 1994, he landed the role of Bill McNeil, the vain and hilarious news anchor on the NBC sitcom News Radio, which showcased his comedic talents in new ways. But behind the scenes, his marriage to Bryn Omdahl was deteriorating under the weight of her substance abuse struggles and jealousy over his success. On May 28, 1998, after an evening of drinking and using cocaine, Bryn shot Phil 3 times as he slept in their Encino, California home. According to multiple accounts, hours later, as police arrived to investigate, Bryn locked herself in the bedroom with Phil's body and took her own life. The tragedy left their 2 young children orphaned and shocked the entertainment world, which lost one of its most talented performers at just 49 years old. The Season 5 premiere of News Radio dealt with the death of his character, Bill McNeil, with cast members openly grieving on camera, blurring the line between fiction and reality in one of television's most heartbreaking tributes. John Ritter collapsed on set and was misdiagnosed. John Ritter had already secured his place in television history as the lovable Jack Tripper on Three's Company when he took on the lead role in 8 Simple Rules for Dating My Teenage Daughter. The show debuted in 2002 and quickly became a hit, with Ritter playing Paul Hennessy, the protective father navigating life with teenage daughters. On September 11, 2003, just 6 days before his 55th birthday, Ritter was rehearsing for the show's 4th episode of the 2nd season when he began feeling ill. He complained of nausea, chest pain, and sweating, classic symptoms that led the hospital to initially treat him for a heart attack. But Ritter wasn't having a heart attack at all. He was suffering from an aortic dissection, a tear in the wall of the main artery, carrying blood from the heart, a condition so rare and dangerous that every hour of delayed treatment increases the death rate by 1%. By the time doctors realized their mistake, the damage was catastrophic. According to reports, surgeons found his aorta was completely shredded, and despite emergency surgery, Ritter died that evening. His wife, Amy Yazbek, later testified during a wrongful death lawsuit that she had mouthed, "I love you," as he was wheeled into surgery, unaware those would be her final words to him. The show addressed his death in 2 emotional episodes where the cast's real grief was painfully visible. And Yazbek went on to establish the John Ritter Foundation to educate the public about aortic dissection and save lives through early detection. Freddie Prinze shot himself at age 22. Freddie Prinze seemed to have everything going for him when his life spiraled into tragedy. At just 20 years old, the stand-up comedian landed the starring role on Chico and the Man in 1974, playing Chico Rodriguez opposite Jack Albertson's cranky garage owner. The show was an instant hit, rocketing to the top of the ratings and making Prinze one of the biggest stars on television. He married, had a son who would later become actor Freddie Prinze Jr., and signed a 5-year, $6 million deal with NBC. But the pressure of sudden fame proved overwhelming for someone so young. Prinze struggled with chronic depression, developed addictions to Quaaludes and cocaine, and his marriage fell apart. According to biographies, he would often joke about suicide, even pointing guns at his head with the safety on, which made friends unsure how seriously to take his threats. On the night of January 28, 1977, after his estranged wife served him with a restraining order, Prinze began making a series of goodbye phone calls to family and friends. His business manager, Dusty Snyder, rushed to his Beverly Hills hotel room, arriving just in time to witness Prince pull a handgun from beneath a couch cushion and shoot himself in the head. He lingered in a coma for 33 hours before dying on January 29th at just 22 years old. A note found in his room read, "I must end it. There's no hope left. I'll be at peace." His death was initially ruled a suicide, but years later, during a civil lawsuit, a jury determined the shooting was accidental and medication-induced, allowing his family to collect life insurance. The debate over whether his death was intentional or a tragic accident continues to this day. Rebecca Schaeffer was murdered by an obsessed stalker. Rebecca Schaeffer's murder sent shockwaves through Hollywood and changed how the entertainment industry protects its stars. The 21-year-old actress was best known for playing Patty Russell on the CBS sitcom My Sister Sam, alongside Pam Dauber, who had taken the young actress under her wing both on and off screen. After the show was canceled in 1988, Schaeffer's film career was taking off. She had roles in several movies and was reportedly preparing for an audition with Francis Ford Coppola for The Godfather Part 3, which could have been her breakthrough moment. On the morning of July 18, 1989, Schaeffer was waiting for the script to be delivered when her doorbell rang. Standing at her door was 19-year-old Robert John Bardo, who had been obsessed with her for 3 years, sending fan letters and trying repeatedly to access the My Sister Sam set. He had paid a private detective $250 to obtain her home address through DMV records, a process that was shockingly easy at the time. According to court testimony, when Schaeffer opened the door, Bardo showed her an autographed photo she had once sent him and told her he was her biggest fan. She politely asked him not to come back and closed the door. Bardo went to a nearby diner for breakfast, then returned an hour later. This time, witnesses reported, when she opened the door again, he immediately pulled out a handgun and shot her point blank in the chest. Neighbors heard her screaming, "Why? Why?" as she collapsed. She was rushed to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, but was pronounced dead 30 minutes after arrival. Bardo was arrested the next day in Arizona, reportedly running through traffic and shouting that he had killed Rebecca Schaeffer. Her murder led directly to California's first anti-stalking laws in 1990 and the Driver's Privacy Protection Act, which prevented DMV records from being used to locate people. Dana Plato's Life Unraveled. After different strokes. Dana Plato's story is one of early fame, followed by a devastating spiral that ended in tragedy. Cast as Kimberly Drummond on Different Strokes at age 13, Plato became a household name alongside Gary Coleman and Todd Bridges. But according to multiple sources, she and her young co-stars began experimenting with drugs and alcohol to cope with the pressures of fame. When Plato became pregnant at 19, the network fired her from the show, reportedly concerned her pregnancy would damage the series' wholesome image. Her acting career never recovered from that point. She struggled to find work beyond low-budget films, her marriage fell apart, and her adoptive mother died in 1988. The same week, her husband reportedly left her. The downward spiral accelerated when she was arrested in 1991 for robbing a video store, with the clerk famously telling the 911 dispatcher, "I've just been robbed by the girl who played Kimberly on Different Strokes." She was sentenced to probation and later arrested again for forging prescriptions for Valium. By 1999, Plato was living in an RV with her fiancé, Robert Menchaca. On May 7th, she appeared on The Howard Stern Show, claiming to be 10 years sober, but the interview went poorly as callers harassed and provoked her. The next day, while visiting Menchaca's family in Oklahoma, Plato took a combination of the painkiller Lortab and the muscle relaxant Soma, then went to lie down. She never woke up. Police initially believed her death at age 34 was accidental, but the medical examiner ruled it a suicide based on the fatal concentration of drugs in her system and her history of suicidal tendencies. Tragically, her son Tyler, who was only 14 at the time, struggled to cope with her death and took his own life in 2010, almost exactly 11 years after his mother died. David Strickland took his life in a Las Vegas motel. David Strickland seemed to be on the verge of breakthrough success when he made a devastating final decision. The actor had worked his way up through guest appearances on Sister, Sister, and Mad About You before landing a regular role on the Brooke Shields sitcom Suddenly Susan in 1996. He played Todd Stites, an eager young rock reporter who brought energy and humor to the show. But sources indicate Strickland battled bipolar disorder and struggled with substance abuse, issues he largely kept private from the public. On March 22, 1999, Strickland traveled to Las Vegas and checked into a motel. According to reports, he spent time at a restaurant and bar that evening before returning to his room alone. The next morning, hotel staff discovered he had taken his own life at just 29 years old. His death shocked his Suddenly Susan castmates and sparked conversations in Hollywood about the need for more open discussions around mental health. The show addressed his character's absence by having Todd accept a job abroad, a decision made out of respect rather than directly acknowledging the tragedy. Friends and colleagues remembered Strickland as talented and funny, but also struggling with demons that proved too overwhelming to overcome. Merlin Santana was shot and killed in Los Angeles. Merlin Santana's murder was a senseless tragedy that cut short a promising career. The young actor had appeared in multiple 90s sitcoms, including a memorable 7-episode stint on The Cosby Show and a role on Getting By, but his breakthrough came playing Romeo Santana on The Steve Harvey Show. For 6 seasons, from 1996 to 2002, he played the smooth-talking, scheming teenager who thought he was God's gift to women, and audiences loved every minute of it. The series finale aired in February 2002, and just 9 months later, Santana's life would end in violence. On the night of November 9, 2002, after leaving an associate's home in the Crenshaw district of South Los Angeles, Santana was sitting in the passenger seat of a parked car when shots were fired from outside the vehicle. According to police reports, the bullets struck only Santana, and the driver quickly drove to find police, but it was too late. Santana died from his injuries, and authorities later arrested and convicted multiple people in connection with the shooting. He was just 26 years old. His former Cosby Show co-star Todd Bridges and other friends spoke out about the tragedy, with many expressing disbelief that such a talented young man with so much potential had been taken in such a pointless act of violence. Lamont Bentley died in a horrific car accident. Lamont Bentley brought warmth and humor to the role of Hakeem Campbell on the UPN sitcom Moesha, playing the best friend to Brandy's title character from 1996 to 2001. His character was loyal, funny, and deeply loved by fans of the show. After Moesha ended, Bentley continued working in television and film, but his career was tragically cut short. In the early morning hours of January 19, 2005, Bentley was driving his Mercedes on the 118 freeway near Simi Valley, California. According to eyewitness accounts, he was traveling at an advanced speed when he took an exit, lost control of the vehicle, and crashed. The car rolled multiple times, and Bentley was ejected from the vehicle onto the freeway, where he was struck by multiple cars. First responders declared him dead at the scene. An autopsy confirmed that blunt force injuries were the cause of death. He was just 31 years old and left behind young children and a devastated family. His Moesha co-star Shar Jackson later spoke about the loss, expressing how deeply the cast mourned someone who had been such a bright presence on set. His death served as a stark reminder of how quickly life can change and how fragile it truly is. Michelle Thomas battled cancer while working. Michelle Thomas played the romantic ideal on 2 of the most popular sitcoms of the late 80s and 90s. On The Cosby Show, she portrayed Justine, Theo Huxtable's first girlfriend, and later she became even more recognizable as Myra Monkhouse on Family Matters, the sweet but obsessive girl who pined after Steve Urkel. Her character brought both humor and heart to the show, and audiences loved watching her try to win Urkel's affection. But behind the scenes, Thomas was fighting a private battle. According to reports, she was diagnosed with a rare form of stomach cancer while still working on Family Matters. She continued to work as long as she could, but her condition worsened. Sources indicate she was in and out of the hospital for treatment, and the cancer eventually spread throughout her body. Despite the efforts of doctors and her own fierce determination, the disease proved too aggressive. Michelle Thomas died on December 28, 1998, at just 30 years old. Her Family Matters co-stars were devastated by the loss, and Jaleel White later spoke about how talented and kind she had been. The show acknowledged her death in a touching tribute, and fans mourned the loss of an actress who had brought so much joy to their screens despite facing unimaginable challenges in her personal life. Yvette Wilson lost her battle with cervical cancer. Yvette Wilson was a comedic powerhouse who brought energy and laughter to every role she played. She appeared in multiple 90s sitcoms, including The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and Family Matters. But she became best known for playing Andal Wilkerson on Moshe and its spin-off The Parkers alongside Monique and Countess Vaughn. Her character ran a restaurant and served as a confidant and friend, delivering sharp one-liners with perfect timing. Wilson's career was thriving, but in 2012, devastating news emerged. According to The Hollywood Reporter, the 48-year-old actress had died from stage 4 cervical cancer. Friends revealed that her cancer had been in remission for several years before it returned with a vengeance. She had also received a kidney transplant shortly before her death, adding to the health struggles she faced in her final months. When news of her passing broke, tributes poured in from across the entertainment industry. Shar Jackson tweeted that her heart was unbelievably broken, and Jamie Foxx, who had worked with Wilson on his show, expressed his grief and noted that she would keep God laughing. Her absence was deeply felt at a Moesha reunion in 2017, where cast members honored her memory. Wilson's legacy lives on through the laughter she created and the joy she brought to fans who still watch her performances decades later. Adam Rich struggled with addiction. Adam Rich became America's little brother, playing Nicholas Bradford on the hit family drama 8 is Enough, which ran from 1977 to 1981. His cherubic face, bowl haircut, and charming energy made him one of the most recognizable child actors of the late 70s. But as Rich grew older, life became increasingly difficult. According to multiple sources, he struggled with substance abuse, mental health issues, and run-ins with the law throughout his adult years. His battles were well documented in the media, and Rich was open about his challenges later in life, discussing his struggles in interviews and acknowledging that addiction had taken a heavy toll. On January 7, 2023, Rich was found dead in his Los Angeles home. He was 54 years old. Law enforcement officials later stated that he had likely been dead for some time before his body was discovered, and a white powdery substance found at the scene led to speculation about the circumstances of his death. The exact cause was confirmed to be an accidental drug overdose. His former co-stars expressed their sadness at the news, remembering the little boy who had once brought so much joy to television screens across America. Rich's story serves as a painful reminder of how childhood fame can come with lasting consequences, and how mental health and addiction issues can persist for decades despite someone's best efforts to overcome them. Robert Pastorelli's death remains controversial. Robert Pastorelli became a fan favorite playing Eldon Bernecki, the quirky bohemian house painter on Murphy Brown, who took 6 years to finish painting Murphy's townhouse. His character was wise, kooky, and endearing, providing emotional support to Candice Bergen's tough-as-nails TV journalist. The role was so popular that Pastorelli left Murphy Brown in 1994 to star in his own CBS sitcom, Double Rush, though the show was quickly canceled. After leaving Murphy Brown, Pastorelli continued working steadily in television and film, but his personal life was marked by tragedy. In 1999, his girlfriend was found dead in their home from a gunshot wound, a death that was ruled a suicide, though Pastorelli maintained she had been murdered. 5 years later, on March 8, 2004, Pastorelli's personal assistant discovered his body in the bathroom of his Los Angeles home. According to reports, drug paraphernalia was found at the scene, leading investigators to initially suspect a heroin overdose. The medical examiner later confirmed that Pastorelli had died from an accidental overdose at age 49. The circumstances surrounding both his girlfriend's death and his own remain subjects of speculation and sadness among those who knew him. His Murphy Brown co-stars remembered him as a talented actor whose life had been marked by both professional success and profound personal tragedy. Red Fox collapsed on set of The Royal Family. Red Fox was already a comedy legend when he returned to television in 1991 for The Royal Family, a new sitcom developed by Eddie Murphy. Fox had achieved iconic status playing Fred Sanford on Sanford and Son throughout the 70s, creating one of the most memorable characters in sitcom history. On October 11, 1991, while rehearsing a scene for The Royal Family, the 68-year-old Fox suddenly clutched his chest and collapsed. According to witnesses on set, many people initially thought he was performing one of his famous fake heart attack bits, a routine he had done countless times on Sanford and Son, where his character would grab his chest and call out to his late wife. Cast and crew members reportedly laughed at first, not realizing something was genuinely wrong, but this time it was real. Fox had suffered a massive heart attack. By the time everyone realized the severity of the situation, precious minutes had been lost. He was rushed to Queen of Angels Hollywood Presbyterian Medical Center, but despite emergency treatment, he never regained consciousness. Fox died that evening, just hours after collapsing on set. The Royal Family producers faced the heartbreaking decision of whether to continue the show without its star, and they briefly attempted to move forward, but the series was canceled after one season. Fox's death was a devastating loss for the comedy world, taking away a performer whose influence had shaped generations of comedians. Orson Bean was killed in a freak accident. Orson Bean had one of the longest and most varied careers in entertainment history. The actor, comedian, and game show panelist appeared on countless television programs over 7 decades, including memorable sitcom roles on shows like The Associates and Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman. Even in his 90s, Bean remained active in entertainment, continuing to perform and make audiences laugh. On February 7, 2020, Bean was crossing a street in the Venice neighborhood of Los Angeles near his home when tragedy struck. According to police reports, the 91-year-old actor was struck by one vehicle and then hit by a second car while he was down on the road. The drivers stopped immediately, and emergency responders arrived quickly, but Bean was pronounced dead at the scene. The accident shocked his family, friends, and fans who had marveled at his longevity and continued passion for performing. His wife of 3 decades, actress Allie Mills, and his children mourned a man who had lived a remarkably full life, but whose death came in such a sudden and tragic manner. The investigation determined the incident was a terrible accident, with no evidence that the drivers had been at fault. Bean's death at such an advanced age, while still actively living and working, left many reflecting on how fragile life remains, regardless of how long we've lived or how much we've accomplished. Alan Thicke died playing hockey with his son. Alan Thicke was synonymous with 80s television, both as an actor and as a behind-the-scenes creative force. He played Dr. Jason Seaver, the warm and compassionate psychiatrist father, on Growing Pains from 1985 to 1992, becoming a beloved figure to millions of viewers. Thicke also composed theme songs for iconic shows like The Facts of Life and Different Strokes, demonstrating his multifaceted talents. On December 13, 2016, Thicke was playing ice hockey with his 19-year-old son Carter at a rink in Burbank, California. Hockey had always been a passion for the Canadian-born actor, and he loved sharing the sport with his youngest child. According to reports, Thicke suddenly felt ill on the ice, complaining of chest pain and difficulty breathing. He was rushed to Providence St. Joseph Medical Center, the same hospital where he had been born 69 years earlier. Doctors discovered he had suffered a ruptured aorta, the same condition that had killed John Ritter 13 years before. Despite emergency surgery, Thicke died that afternoon. His death devastated his 3 sons and his family, who described him as a devoted father and husband. The Growing Pains cast and crew expressed their shock and sadness, remembering a man who had been the emotional center of their television family. Thicke's final moments, spent doing something he loved with his son, provided some small comfort to those mourning his loss, though the suddenness of his death left everyone struggling to accept that he was gone. Gary Coleman's final years were marked by tragedy. Gary Coleman's story is one of the most heartbreaking in television history. As Arnold Jackson on Different Strokes, the young actor with the unforgettable catchphrase, "What you talkin' 'bout, Willis?" became one of the most recognizable faces on television. He won multiple awards and became the highest-paid child actor of his time. But life after the show proved devastating for Coleman. According to multiple sources, he struggled with health issues related to congenital kidney disease, financial troubles, and a series of legal battles with his parents and former managers. By the time he reached adulthood, much of his fortune was gone. On May 26, 2010, Coleman fell and hit his head at his home in Santaquin, Utah. His wife, Shannon Price, called for an ambulance, and he was taken to Utah Valley Regional Medical Center in Provo. Initially conscious and talking to medical staff, his condition rapidly deteriorated. An epidural hematoma, a collection of blood between his skull and brain, was causing increasing pressure. Doctors informed his family that his injuries were severe and recovery was unlikely. After 2 days on life support, with his condition showing no improvement, the decision was made to remove life support. Coleman died on May 28 at age 42. The circumstances of his fall and the decisions made in his final days became the subject of controversy and legal disputes. His death marked the tragic end of a life that had promised so much joy but delivered mostly pain and struggle.